welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you a simple but practical routine to practice how to do reading. Learn reading step by step in beginner level. Before we get into the teaching section, don't forget to like and subscribe. The demonstration I'm about to show you actually happened recently when I performed for someone I don't know very well. He wanted to know what I always mean by reading and asked me how to show him. First, I got some blank card and a pen, take out one card, write something on it, and place it face down on the table. We don't need this card for now, but I promise everything will make perfect sense in the end. Imagine there's a rainbow in front of you. The color of this rainbow a bit special. Gold, silver, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and pink. In a moment, I want you to choose a color that you think represents you the most. Gold, silver, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink. Remember, I need you to choose a color that you think represents you. Don't overthink it and don't analyze it. Take a deep breath, fill into a color, the one that represents you. I will give you 5 seconds. You can keep changing your mind in your head, but once I finish countdown from 5, you must say a color out loud. Whatever color say at that point, you can't change it. That's what we use. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Name it. At the time, the person said gold. Okay, this is a very shiny color. It means you are someone who willing to express yourself. You will never thought about hiding who you are and will communicate with others. You never mind sharing your true thoughts. Also, gold isn't a typical color of a rainbow. The fact that you chose it means you're not completely willing to follow convention. You want to have your own unique ideas and pursue a lifestyle that's different from others. That's how your subconscious see you. Good. I actually see the same thing. Then I asked, what does the gold color make you feel? Or why you choose that color? The spectator said he don't really have any particular feeling about it. But since he don't have overthinking, he tend to pick something special. So this is the special color for you, right? But you know what? When I first saw you, I saw a different color. If gold represents how you see yourself, then the color I saw might represent how other people see you. I won't let you know what the color just yet. More important is I want you to know what I wrote down at the beginning. So as you can see, I wrote down gold and special. When I try to understand somebody's thought, I imagine myself as the person, stay in their perspective, and think about answer to the question, hoping to get the same result. Fortunately, it looks like it worked today. As for the other card, what written on it is the orange. That was my first impression when I looked at you. Like an orange, you need to peel it to get to the flesh inside. Even though you don't think you're hiding yourself, but from the outsider perspective, getting close to you might take some time finding the right approach before they can see your true nature. Often, how people see us and how we see others are different. That might even be two complete different answers because we both have a unique perspective, but this also reminds us, even for the same person, in the perspective of different people, they may represent a different color, just like a rainbow. That represents infinite possibility. It tells us never limit ourselves and to live as colorful as a rainbow. So this is a very simple routine in structure and easy to perform. It just used the one ahead principle and the Mexican turnover. Simple but effective enough. All we need are some playing card and a pen. You could use some playing index card or a playing card. Before I explain the mechanic, I want to talk about the reading first. When I say reading, I don't mean co-reading. I don't mean use the ambiguous sentences. I mean explain what the spectator choice. They're more like a psychological test to analyze somebody's personality. I know as a magician, we all want every step to hit. We don't want spectators said we are wrong. But in reality, if we just throw a bunch of the co-reading lines, it is easy for the spectator to feel like we are pushing them to say yes. I have many friends who do tarot reading and they often give each other reading. Most of them feel the tarot reader who move them the most are not the one who can transmit card meanings or one who seem to be fairly accurate. Instead, the one they truly like are the one who make them feel that they genuinely communicating and sincerely to getting to know them by the conversation. So I believe that when doing a reading, concern too much about accuracy make me overlook the spectator. It turns into me just outputting information while the spectator can only agree. When I do a reading, I focus more on make the spectator feel the communication. They give me a color first and then I explain based on the color they choose. The spectator can feel I'm trying to get to know them. And since the color is the one they choose themselves, the question asked about the color could represent them. Analyze based on that color means they're unlikely to push back on my explanation. It is kind of like a simple psychology personality test. Normally, I also let them to use their own imagination to feel what that color means. Allow them to supplement my reading. Remember, communication during the reading is the most important thing. Speaking of the imagination, for the base core of the color reading, you don't need to memorize all the fixed meanings. Just use your own imagination. Whatever color the spectator say, just use the associative thinking. And think about the impression that color gives you. For example, red. My first impression of this color is a fire truck. The keyword is big size, outstanding, hard to ignore, and the siren is loud, you're willing to voice your opinions. But sometimes when the fire truck is moving, it feels like the siren changes pitch. That might mean when your opinion reaches the other people, they cannot always fully and accurately convert what you really mean. Of course, red is also like a sun, it can represent passion. Another example, green, that made me think of a soccer field. Symbolizing running freely, the keyword is pursuing freedom. You could also imagine a forest. Being in nature feels very comfortable. And silver, that made me think of a metal. It feels cold to touch, maybe hard to approach at first, but once you become a good friend, you will protect all your friends like a shield. Basically, as long as you use the associative thinking and connect color to everyday object you're familiar with, you will easy to memorize all the keywords for reading. Or you can buy some children's book and look at how they describe color of a rainbow. That can also help you practice this type of reading. Everyone's experience is different. The example I just gave are based on my perspective and my life experience. You can use similar explanation when performing, or you can build your own unique reading system based on your own perspective. So at the start, I write on a card and place on the table. I don't use the word prediction. Because if I do, as soon as the spectator say the color, they will want to flip the card immediately. I don't want that to happen, so I choose not to say anything, just place a card on the table. First, it maintains a bit of mystery. Second, it creates time misdirection, make it easier to do the one ahead later. If you worry about spectator might flip the card, you can also put something on it. First, I never mention at the beginning what written on the card. I don't want the spectator to associate the card with the color too quickly. So I say I need you to choose a color rather than think of a color. Second, if I ask spectator to think of a color, then when I ask them to say it out loud, most people will ask, do I really have to say it? It doesn't really affect anything. but I try to avoid creating any question in spectators' mind as much as possible. So my instructions are very clear. I want you to choose a color, and I will give you 5 seconds to decide you want to change it or not. But remember, the color you say after 5 seconds is your final choice. Once you say it, you cannot change it. The purpose of this line is to shift the question in their mind from do I have to say it to which color am I going to say. Then combined with the reading afterward, in spectator mind, the process of choosing a color become me trying to get to know them. Just a little preparation before the trick starts, seemingly not related to the whole routine, which help me for the time misdirection. It makes harder for them to notice when two cards is written and which is which help the one and a half principle. The next thing you have to know is the Mexican turnover. So let's explain what is Mexican turnover. Basically, you put one card on the table. For example, this is the King of Hearts. Turn it over face down, and then I'm holding the Ace of Spades. So the move is used to switch these two cards by simulating the action of strip the card and then flip that over. So I can use the Ace of Spades. Looks like I'm turning over the King, but actually I just turn over the card on my hand. So this is a switch. So basically I just switch the card on my hand to the table. When I put the King on top of the table, I just simply holding the Ace by my right hand index finger and the thumb. So like that. So just use these two fingers, and my middle finger will release with no pressure on it. When I script the card, I just releasing the pressure between my thumb and the index, and then hold the card on top here. Soon as my thumb touch this card, my middle finger goes in. So I'm holding the top card by my thumb and the middle finger. Slightly shift my thumb under downward, and then by simulating the turnover action, my index of the right hand just simply do that. So if you do that all together, will be something like that. I'm holding the Ace. You can just do it by one hand. So I'm holding the Ace now. So something like that. But actually in the reality situation, most of my time performing this trick, I don't have a cloth or I don't have a card mat. So I always use the other hand to help me. So my left hand would put on top of this card by the corner. So slightly press on it, this corner will naturally a little bit comes up. When I scrub it, it's really easy to get underneath that card. So scrub it, turn over, something like that. Just hold the card by the index and the thumb, and then go under this card, shift the pressure on the top card, keep going up, and then turn the card over. Not a very difficult move, but it takes some time to practice. When you do this move, just make sure you can do this move. Don't be overacting when you're turning the other card over. So just simply very light. All the motion will be very light. Something like that. So for example, I have two cards. One is A. A has the word rainbow, and the B has the word special. The rainbow card I just placed on the table, and then I'm holding the B card in the whole time. But at the second I turn it over, I just switch this card. This is basically how the Mexican over work. If you guys want to know more detail about this move, you could find a lot of different tutorial on YouTube. Beside Mexican turnover, I'm sure you guys know a lot of different methods to switch cards, so you don't have to use the Mexican turnover. If you know the other method you think it suits better, it all up to you. Or use Luis Lefar OTT move. That's what I use in my regular performances. In this type of two card one and a half routine, I personally think the OTT move is the most suitable method. But since the move belong to Luis Lefar, I won't demonstrate here. However, I highly recommend everyone go check it out. And here's how I start the trick. Based on your first impression of the person, write down the color that comes to your mind. And don't forget to also write down rainbow. So that's it. In the demonstration, I wrote down orange. This is the card I'm going to switch. Remember, I only give them 9 colors to choose from, so the chance of direct hit is slightly better than 1 in 10. Also, once you know the keywords for each color, sometimes your first impression about their personality might actually match the color they end up choosing. You don't even have to perform the trick. Sometimes just try it with every stranger you see. Think of a color that represents them in your head. It could train your intuition and your accuracy will improve over time. Based on my personal experience, when I perform this trick, I get a direct hit about 50 to 60% of the time. Of course, thanks to the one ahead principle, even you don't get a direct hit, it doesn't matter. You can still complete the trick as shown in my demonstration. Then the next part is explain what color chosen by the spectator represent and ask for their opinion, pick a keyword from their response. In the demonstration, since the spectator said special, so I wrote gold and special in the second card. Keep in mind, since the first card have 2 words written on it, the second card should also have 2 words, so the time taken to write them be matched. Otherwise, writing the first card would take obviously longer. If you only have 1 word on the second card, after the switch, that would be looks like unnatural because you take a long time to write the first card, right? So that's why I tend to do the second card with 2 words as well. So the first card have the orange and rainbow. The second card has the gold and special. You just do a Mexican turnover to switch it. After the switch, the spectator will assume that was written before we even start. From their perspective, even we might be lucky or secretly influence them to choose gold, but they could not explain how can we even write down the reason they chose this color or their feeling about it way more before they even make the choice. Write down some information beyond just the color. Make it impossible for a spectator to reverse engineer the method by logic, adding another layer of mystery. Trust me, if we just predict the color, that would be a good trick, but adding 1 more keyword will absolutely take the effect to the next level. The spectator will be mind blown after seeing it. For the final script, you can directly use the lines from my demonstration to explain why you wrote down the rainbow. Of course, if the first color is a direct hit, you can change it to asking the spectator, do they know why I also write down rainbow? Then set the orange is the color I saw when I imagined myself as them, but when I first saw them, another color actually came to my mind. After explaining the second color, continue in the meaning of the rainbow and finish the performance. For some final advice, in my opinion, as a mentalist, if we don't incorporate some readings into our routines, this is a big waste. For me, mentalism is not only about my reading, it is also about connection, the connection between me and the spectator. Some spectators have told me after they see this trick, before it started, they thought it was going to be a regular magic trick, but never expect it to be such a deep conversation. And that's exactly what I want my audience to feel. This is my way to introduce myself. Reading allows the spectator to think this is not oppressive feeling of me directly reading their mind, but rather a more gentle sense of communication. I want to provide the audience with a smooth, peaceful process, which also could reduce their defensiveness and resistance. Of course, you don't have to do that in my way. You can do some simple cold reading instead. But I recommend learning a system like tarot or numerology. I'm not saying you have to be a tarot reader. I'm just saying sometimes when we look at the spectator, even we want to do cold reading, we might not always know what to say. Sometimes our mind just go blank and we want to speak but cannot find a word. In those moments, a good reading system could be a huge help. You don't need to memorize all 78 cards of a full deck of tarot. Just get familiar with the 22 major arcana. That way you will have some keywords in mind of each card. At that point, when you look at the spectator, just let the tarot card intuitively pops in your mind. Or you can ask for their birthday, add up the number to get tarot card. Then you have some keyword to work with. From there, you can ask the spectator which part resonates and which don't, and gradually adjust your reading based on their responses, letting them feel you're getting to know them step by step. Okay, so that's pretty much I want to share today. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.